is the illusory energy of Krishna. And Maya captures the jiva and gives him a gross and a subtle body. And then he begins to wander from one life to another to another. And sometimes going down into lower species, and sometimes coming up to human, and sometimes going up to demigod, higher planets in the universe, again coming down, rotating like this. Like this. This is described all in the Vedas.
From what I understand, we are no lower or worse jivas for choosing this route rather than not coming down to the material world, correct?
Say that again?
That we're not necessarily choosing to come here instead of the spiritual world at fault or like any worse or lower than the jivas that decided to go to the spiritual world directly from the banks, correctly? It's like, instead of looking at glass and something else at jewels, you just don't know any better until you got the glass on it.
Yeah, well, you know, when you get into this topic of trying to analyze the very question that you asked, then you come into a broad subject matter about the free will and the independence that is given to us as eternal living beings. Because that is our nature. As a conscious being, we have free will. We have free will. We can utilize it properly or improperly. But that is not taken away from us. So for those who want to misuse their free will, there is a creation like this. But there are also many reasons why this creation exists as it does. It's not only for this reason. So that subject matter is very fascinating. Very fascinating. And it takes a little bit of development of Shraddha. Like I was talking about today, this word Shraddha, faith. It takes that. It required him to enter deeply into this topic. Why? Because this topic is actually called achintya. Achintya means inconceivable. We try to understand with our material brain, our mind. But our material mind is made of matter.
So it relates itself to matter all the time.
Yeah, and matter also means limitation, limit. Limits how? In time and space. Everything material is limited in time and space. But spirit, consciousness, is not limited by time and space. Because the soul has no beginning, no origin. The soul is eternal. But yet, it's described that he is an emanation from the Supreme Being. So these two things are contradictory, are they not? Let me rephrase this. The soul is an emanation from the Supreme Being. But yet, he has no beginning in time. There's no beginning of the soul. And that you also can't understand with your mind. Because if you try to understand that I didn't have a beginning, and you try to think like that, you can't get there.
Yeah, try to think
Because it's like infinity. Your mind doesn't go to infinity. Why does your mind not go there? Because your mind is made within the confines of matter. It cannot conceive of that. So the word in Sanskrit is called achintya. Achintya means inconceivable. But does it mean that it can't be realized? Does it mean that you can't gain knowledge of it? No. It doesn't mean that you can't gain knowledge of it. Yes, you can gain knowledge of it, but not through the process of mental, intellectual, trying to grab it and capture it, because it won't go there. So when this question is asked, where did we come from? How did we get here? Yeah, the mind wants to extrapolate on that. But in actuality, the answer to that question is achintya.
And that's why we have to have faith.
That's why. That's one of the reasons why. But You have to have faith to understand anything which is achintya. And in fact, everything in the spiritual world is achintya. It is inconceivable. But we try to describe it. We try to give a map of the spiritual world and the material world and the region in between and all of this, okay? But in actuality, it has to be realized. Realization comes into the core of the heart of the soul, the heart of the living being. Then it becomes knowledge. You see? So our spiritual predecessors, all of our great spiritual masters who've written all these great literatures, they have touched upon this subject, but they have not attempted to describe it in full. Because as we develop in our different stages of Shraddha, then we become more and more equipped to understand this. And when our Shraddha develops sufficiently, then that question will not be a great concern to us anymore. And a little example is given by my guru. He told that when you are drowning, you've fallen off a ship or whatever, you're in the ocean and you're drowning in the ocean. And someone throws you a lifesaver, right? Your whole mind is only on that and that alone. How can I get out, right? How can I save myself? You're not concerned about thinking, how did I get here? How did I get into this situation when I'm drowning in this ocean? No. The urgency of that situation, you don't have time to think about that. You have to save yourself. So here's the lifeboat or life buoy, and you have to grab it and hold on to it, you see. And then when you get hauled up on the ship, then after you get revived a little bit, then you can think, wow, I was drowning in the ocean. And they came along and they pulled me into this boat, So it gives that example. And it's okay, it's natural, and it's also good to ask that question. All of us ask that question. And the question continues to be there to some extent. But in actuality, I never think about that. I never think about it because I understand now. I understand that the truth of the matter is that somehow I have made a choice. Okay? Now, can I understand exactly how that happened? Not fully, because it's achintya. Okay? But I also understand that part of this is the desire of Krishna, because everything is Krishna's desire. Nothing happens independently of his desire. And if we want to analyze what is his desire, there's many nice explanations about that. That's a whole very beautiful subject matter. That whatever Krishna does is actually for his purpose of experiencing love and affection, rasa, with all the living beings. And because he's infinite, he wants infinite variety. Infinite, because he's infinite. And he deserves that. So everything exists for that, including this material world of birth and death. It has a place within the scope of his eternal, unlimited pastimes. And so therefore he does even come into the material universes. From far beyond the material universes, he comes into here. And he plays. And that play is good for us. Because when we hear about that, when we hear about the conversation that he spoke, everything, what he does is all good. All good and absolute. You see? So when that understanding comes, how merciful is Krishna? He's all good. He's so full of mercy. He wants everyone to come to him. Then this question, it no longer, it doesn't really preoccupy you in any way. You're satisfied. You understand. Okay. So Krishna is all merciful. So now business is how to attain his lotus feet. You know, when you understand that supreme reality and that everything has been provided for you to approach there,
Yeah.
then that becomes your one-pointed goal.
Which
One-pointed.
brings me to my next question. Who are the two gurus? Are there two types of gurus?
Two gurus.
Two
Where
types
did you
of
hear about
gurus?
two gurus?
One guru is your guru. Guru is just a friend or a teacher, anybody who can teach or help you along the way, like a devotee. And then a guru.
Oh, you're talking-
You're one guru.
Okay, actually there are two types, yes, there are two types. There's more than two, but there are two main types.
Okay.
There's called the Siksha Guru. Siksha. Siksha. Sik. Sik. Siksha. Sik. S-I-K. Sik. Sha. S-H-A. Siksha. There you go.
Oh, practice that.
Yeah. Siksha Guru. So, Siksha means instructions. Siksha means instructions. So one who imparts spiritual instructions, he can play this role of being Siksha Guru. And you can have more than one. You can have numerous Siksha Gurus. Siksha Gurus are also on different levels. But when you meet one particular Vaishnava, one particular great devotee, from whom you want to focus there, he becomes your Siksha. Second type of guru is called Diksha Guru. Diksha. Diksha, yes. Siksha and Diksha. And Diksha. Now Diksha is the word in Sanskrit that refers to spiritual initiation. Accepting initiation. That is a formal process where both guru and disciple confirm this relationship. That mantra is given by guru to the disciple, spiritual name is given, and the disciple fully surrenders to that person, to that guru, that great Vaishnava, and accepts the worship of his lotus feet. And I am now taking shelter of your lotus feet. Now you please accept me. Okay? So that is called Diksha. Okay, and I mentioned today in the class that in the association of the sadhus, of the saintly persons, both of these things will happen. Siksha and Diksha will take place. And it's ongoing. But one generally only accepts one guru as a Diksha guru, initiating spiritual master. And in our line, we have two main initiations. First initiation and second. First one is called Harinam, receiving the Mahamantra from Sri Guru in a formal way. And then the second initiation is called Gayatri Diksha. And you're receiving mantras, very specific mantras that have been handed down for thousands of years. And those set of mantras are called Gayatris. These are not repeated out loud. These are mentally meditated upon 3 times a day. Like you see us sitting in front of the altar after the singing and dancing kirtan. So we're chanting our evening Gayatri mantras. Yes. So that second initiation is called Diksha. Now I want to explain something very nice about this word, Diksha, because it has 2 parts, D and Ksha. Diksha. Ksha. K-S-H-A. Ksha. So these are root words in Sanskrit referring to the 2 things that will happen in the course of receiving this Diksha mantras. Then 2 things will happen. First is called D. D stands for Divya. Divya means divine, or transcendental. Like the word divine is very similar to this word. Divine, div. Divine, divya. Divya. So it means transcendental, divine, spiritual. Divya Gyan means transcendental knowledge. So when full transcendental knowledge is obtained and full realization of one's own spiritual form, your function, your eternal serving function with Krishna, when all of this is realized, that is called D. The first half, D and Ksha. So the second half, Ksha, is coming from the Sanskrit word Kshapayati, Kshapayati, which means eradication. Eradicating all of your previous karmas and everything that's binding you into the material world. Ksha. That will take place. When the full manifestation of that has taken place, that is actually called Diksha. Okay. So that process through which it takes place, okay, the example is given just like if you want to enroll in a university, okay? So you have to be accepted by the university before you can take classes and receive credits for your taking of classes. The university has to accept you, right? So that's like a ritual. The spiritual master accepts you as his disciple. Okay? Yes, I'm accepting you as my student. Now the process of Diksha begins. And when it is attained, then you have Diksha. Okay? You have attained your full realization of your spiritual form, and you have attained full freedom from all previous karmas. So when the ceremony takes place and the guru actually accepts the new disciple in a formal way, that is called Diksha initiation. Okay? And the mantras are given by guru to disciple. But no one is qualified to receive that until they have come up to a certain standard. They must have a certain background and standard before they are eligible to receive these mantras. And in the beginning, the first initiation, this is called Harinam. And Harinam means this Mahamantra, 16 words. That mantra is given by Guru, and that is your first initiation. In that initiation, there is a bond between Guru and disciple, permanent. And then at that time, the disciple continues to chant this Mahamantra regularly and to follow also 4 regulative principles. 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, meat, fish, eggs, anything. No intoxications of any type. No illicit sex life. Legal sex life means in marriage for the purpose of having children. Yes. And no gambling, those 4. So when those 4 are followed, and also chanting every day a specific number of rounds on the beats, then this is called Harinam initiation. And then that guru will accept that disciple like a father accepts the child. You are my son, you are my daughter, and trains that disciple, you see. So the guru is also functioning as a Siksha guru as well. Right? Sometimes there are circumstances where you will have one Diksha guru who will give you the mantras, but you will be mostly associating with another guru, Siksha guru, who gives you so much instructions. But in either case, you have to have more than one instructing guru, because the pathway is very long and there are many levels. So the person is considered very fortunate when they have so many gurus and spiritual teachers to help them along the pathway. But in every case, there will be one specific guru who becomes your main guru.
Thank you.
All clear?
Yes.
There's one more type of guru, which is spoken of. That guru is called Vartma Pradarshak. Vartma means path, and Pradarshak means who shows you, who leads you, directs you. Here's the path. Okay? So Vartma Pradarshak Guru can be such a person who helps you, who enlightens you, and directs you. Okay, here's the pathway. You see. So that also may happen from more than one. So in this way, guru is the principle of guru is very essential for spiritual advancement. And Krishna has arranged this. And you know, it's very interesting because when Krishna incarnates in this world, and he plays in this world like as if he's a human being of this world, he also shows by his own example, and he also accepts a guru. Yes. Even though he is the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Guru of all gurus, but when he comes into this world to show example for all the conditioned souls, he also performs this pastime of accepting a guru and becoming the disciple of that guru. So it's the eternal method that Krishna has ordained in the universe and in all universes, that if someone wants to attain spiritual perfection, they'll have to become humble and submissive and accept true guru and surrender. And that surrender makes you qualified to receive the mercy of Krishna. So, very good. You have very nice questions.
Thank you for having very nice answers.
It's all because I have my gurus,
Yeah.
and I've heard from them.
It seems everything that you have in life, you were spoon-fed from somebody. You maybe put yourself in a position to be spoon-fed, but you gain from following, learning from somebody who's
That's true. That's very true. Even in the material world, any subject matter requires some kind of authoritative teacher to really learn that subject. And that's why in the modern day, you know, this word guru is used
Yeah.
in English vocabulary, in the media. Other words like pundit, I think I told you the other day, learned scholars. Yeah, you're probably getting cold as well. Okay.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, very nice to meet you also. What's your name again?
John.
Janu, that's right. Okay. Janu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
See you soon again.
Yeah.
If you have a chance, you can come to our programs during this week.
Okay.
Tuesday at
Tuesday?
6:30 p.m.
Okay.
at the place where I saw you, I think on Tuesday or Thursday last week.
Okay. All right. Up like on Friendly.
That is correct. See you soon.
What is your name?
John? No, John.
Right, I met you last year, right?
Last time when we were here, 2 months ago?
Yeah. That's right. It was just a few months ago. Or was it a year ago? I was here twice.
You guys half a year ago.
It was in the winter time. Okay, yeah. That was in January, February.
And I got these and weaponology.
That's right. I gave those to you, didn't I? Did I also give you a name at that time?
Spot, so
Okay, okay.
I think it's kind of
That's
good.
right. I remember that now. I remembered your face. Faces I don't forget. Names I forget. So how are you doing? Okay. Nice to see you again. What's occupying your time nowadays? What are you up to?
Well, I was just doing planting a whole bunch of trees for like a restoration project along the river at Port Dallas, but since then, kind of looking for something else to do, chanting a lot more. So, free time.
Very good. Nice. I'm happy to hear that.
The first going for like 1 or 2 rounds, it seemed like forever, and now like I can't do really less than 4 if I average like 8 even.